I found this post very interesting from Swift. Now, if you guys have been paying attention at all, one of the pieces of the financial system that Ripple and XRP are going after are payments, right? Specifically cross-border payments, but payments in general as well. A lot of it is worked through a system called Swift, where it's messaging. They send messages saying, hey, so-and-so is sending this much money to so-and-so from this account to this account, and that's the message. And then later, through whatever channels they decide, and with many fees and delays, I mean, it's very slow, they actually transfer the actual money from here to here, right? So that takes time. That's called settlement, right? So transaction is the message, and settlement is the plus however much time it takes. Right now, we're like, what, T+1, transaction, and then usually 1 day. If it's cross-border, it's transaction. It can be like a week later sometimes where the money actually shows up in the right account. So that's T+6, T+7, whatever. What we're heading into now is T+0, which means transaction with instant settlement, T+0. But it's interesting, the admission here. Now, in this post, you'll see right now in a second. But another thing I want to point out is that some of the discussion based on current money flows through Swift, if Ripple and XRP take over just 10% of the activity on this network, just 10% of it, XRP would equal about $1,200 a coin. That's not peanuts, right? That's pretty good. I think a lot of you are doing math on your calculators right now. That's the math they came up with. Just 10% of just that, okay? Never mind the tokenization of securities, of treasuries, of real estate, real world assets on the XRP ledger. Never mind all of that. Never mind the derivatives market and all the other developments and integrations on the XRP ledger, because all of that brings value. Never mind all the printing of RLUSD, because every one of those RLUSD stablecoins is a transaction on the XRP ledger. So without any of that, just 10% of this, it's $1,200 a coin. But check out this admission. The other day they posted that today, 75% of payments traveling over their network reach beneficiary banks. Get it? They reach the beneficiary bank from this account to that account, the beneficiary bank, within 10 minutes. But more work is needed. It takes them 10 minutes to do that, guys, okay? They say, and they're admitting more work is needed at the final stage of payments journey. The last mile is what they're calling it. Now remember that verbiage, the last mile. To address friction that delays funds from being delivered to end beneficiaries. The delay, right? And also there's fees. According to our latest research, the main root causes of these delays are complex reporting requirements, country-specific effects and risk controls, lack of 24/7 real-time. What's 24/7, 365? Crypto. But they have a lack of that right now, of that real-time infrastructure. Manual and fragmented processes. Yeah, in other words, you're having to conduct those transactions using different systems. One is the messaging, another is how are we going to get it from here to here? Do we have to go from here to an intermediary and then to the final bank, or is there a way to do it directly? Do we do it with an armored vehicle? How do we get this value to there? And so all of that takes time and money. Money can be lost in those transactions. About 6% of all Swift transactions get lost. They're all insured, of course, but they get lost, and it's expensive. It's a cost, right? It's a cost, it's an inconvenience, it's a delay, it's friction. So they go on to say in the second part here, it says, learn what's needed to fix these issues, speed up the cross-border payments, boost efficiency, and drive progress across the entire ecosystem. And it's a spotlight on speed. Well, I can tell you right now, there's nothing that Swift can do to speed it up other than to let something like Ripple take over the process, or integrate Ripple's technology utilizing the digital asset XRP within its system. Now, if you're thinking to yourself, well, I don't know if XRP and Ripple can take over their stuff. Let me tell you what, they've been working with Swift for a very long time. I've been reading about it for years, but they're not being very open about it. However, they're admitting, the fastest they can get money somewhere is 10 minutes. Now, that's just the fastest, guys. They do go a lot slower in most cases. But what does everything in 3 to 5 seconds with a full messaging and settlement? The digital asset XRP, cryptocurrency. What's open 365, 24/7? Blockchain, the digital asset XRP. Frictionless, it's quick. So when I tell you that XRP could be worth $1,200 a coin with just 10% of the activity, how many people in that utilize and engage in the SWIFT system are going to say, nah, I think I'll let my payment go slower. I'll pay more for it. I don't mind the inconvenience. I want inconvenience. You think that 90% of the people utilizing that payment system there are going to opt for the worst option, for the worst pay, or are they going to opt for the cheaper, faster, more secure option that's open 365, 24/7? In other words, they could do it midnight on a Saturday night and get their transaction done. I mean, come on, that lacks logic. It's not going to go like that. It's going to go fast, which is why I told you in an earlier video, I think this mass adoption is going to be really quick. They are working, and they're admitting that. Now, the last mile, I told you to focus on that verbiage. I think it was like 3 years ago, and you can look it back. Look up on AI or Google. You can say Ripple plus last mile, and they wrote something up about the last mile 3-4 years ago, I think. And what they're doing to complete that last mile transaction thing, to complete that last mile of getting where they were in crypto then to where they are now, and making sure that payments are realized in the real world in that way. And now they're using the same verbiage for cross-border payments and other transactions, the last mile. Words mean things. So when I see something like that, I hear digital ledger technology, a level playing field, all of this stuff is verbiage that came from Ripple and its CEO, its CFO, its president. At any given time, you can go back in history, you'll see that they will have used all of these words, and including the phrase, all the money. So the words mean things, and that's a heck of an admission there, but I think that's what you're going to see. You're going to see the takeover of that system, and it won't just be Ripple, because we have things like XDC, which focus on small to medium enterprise trade finance. And so you're going to see some of those transactions run through there, and the Corda Settler, which is like a competing system. And so you see XDC used for that. XLM will take a good portion of these transactions. But it'll be blockchain based for sure, because nobody's going to buy the worst product when it comes to transferring your money. You want security, you want speed, you want convenience. Don't we all? Anyhow, let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, and bookmark, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Till next time, adios amigos.